Mr. Sergeant of Arms, invite the members into the chamber and close the doors. I hereby declare the House of Representatives of the 113th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee now in session. Lear Lambert, you are recognized.
I move to dispense with the calling and roll.
Without objection, so ordered. Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, we have a message concerning House Bill 2326 by Chairman Hicks relative to education. Mr. Speaker, we now have a conference committee report for that bill.
Representative Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And we have come to an agreement with the fourth grade alternative pathway to fifth grade bill. The Senate, on their version, they actually had a 2-year sunset. We were able to get that removed. Not only that, part of the adequate growth measure was going to be to use a benchmark screener. That has been removed out of the bill. And the conference committee, which consists of the principal, the teacher, and then the parent guardian. So that will be 3 groups. Each group would have a vote in order to decide what that child would do as far as moving on to fifth grade or being retained. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I move we adopt the conference committee report and make it an action of the House.
Representative Hicks moves to adopt the conference committee report and make it the action of the House. Any discussion? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of the conference committee report vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 84, no nays.
The conference committee report, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare adopted and made the action of the House without objection. Most freaks here is tabled. Chairman Clemens, for what purpose?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to let my caucus members know that all conference committee reports are on the dashboard. There's a specific section and they're on the dashboard under today's date that says conference committee reports for those who weren't informed. Thank you.
Thank you. Let the journal reflect Representative Miller and Gillespie are excused. All right, members, so we are in a waiting period for the Senate. And yeah. So all right, members, if you remember from the last General Assembly, the clerk's staff put together a reel of funniness, depending on how you look at it, depending on how you're depicted. So, well, I'm sorry, there it was. That was not what I was talking about. Senate, just let you know that was not what I was talking about. So, Mr. Clerk, if you could cue up the video.
Bless you. Thank you. So the bond cannot be set at a rate or an amount. Sorry about that.
The only available reptiles of this nature were at Chairman Faison's congregation, and they wouldn't let go of them.
Praise the Lord.
It's been a long time since I've been to a barber shop.
Now I have an idea that where we can save some more money, and that is if we could cut off this cold air.
In consultation with myself, I would like to ask pumpkin pie.
I do not like pumpkin pie, sir. I cannot support pumpkin pie. What are we going to do about blackberry, rhubarb, apple, strawberry, lemon meringue? And I'm not so sure that when my grandmother cooked it, banana pudding wasn't in the flavor of a pie.
By the way, all of those of you folks who got to eat lunch today, congratulations. I am very, very glad for you.
Are we talking dry rub? We talking wet ribs? What? I mean, the whole hog.
East Tennessee barbecue is actually better than Memphis barbecue.
Oh,
I want to see if he has the nerve to say that twice, okay?
Dadgum lobbyist better bring me a hamburger next time she comes to my office, I'll just tell you.
Looking for some hot slaw baby this evening. I need some hot slaw baby tonight.
I feel like that if we took the barbecue from Memphis or hot chicken from Nashville and combined it with hot slaw, you've got an unpenetratable force. It'd be like wearing a Superman costume.
2,301 and finally 2,922 be heard on the Finance Subcommittee behind the budget counter next week.
Leader, the stringing wasn't rolling. Can you do that again?
The swag level in the hall just went up 100 degrees thanks to Dwayne.
Ms. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 86, 2 nays.
Brotherly love.
I want to introduce you all to the sugar in my coffee, the butter on my toast. My smoking hot wife, April. Everybody else.
My wife, Kim.
Then my bride,
My wife, Laura.
my lovely wife,
My wife, Leah Love.
my wife of 43 years.
My wife's birthday.
Lots been said about me. I wish my wife had heard it.
The best chiropractor in West Tennessee, possibly in Tennessee in general, who happens to be my wife.
I'd like you to meet my husband, who has
I'm not married to my first cousin. I am married.
Okay, just kind of sashay around and at your leisure, and I got something for you.
I'll sashay myself. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'd love to see it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Monday will be Dressed Like Representative Joe Towns Day for those of us.
If you need a short tie, please see Representative Parks.
Is that ties for Joe?
You all heard it. I'm being bullied. I'm being picked upon by my supposed to be leader, and Clemens is involved in it too. I need to figure out where to file the charge on these rascals because they after me.
And I don't know what you did to the speaker, but he gives you a committee with me, GA, and Joe Towns all in the same committee. And Mike Sparks on top of that.
Okay, we're getting close to revenge food deprivation here, so.
What time is it?
Roll call.
No, announcements.
I was just kidding. Announcements.
Announcement.
That's a wrap for me, Madam Chair.
We're shutting down shop.
I do the Irish goodbye, just kind of slide out.
Look forward to what the future holds.
I'll be thinking about you. Thanks for the memories.
I'll see you on the high ground.
DJ is out.
All right, members, that was your clerk staff. So there you go.
But I just want to make a statement that Senator Bowling had noticed, and we want to say that discrimination like this is not acceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Pody. Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, House Bill 2326 by Senator White. The Conference Committee report is in file with the clerk and is distributed upon the member's desk.
Senator White, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to adopt the Conference Committee report. I move to adopt.
Senator White moves to adopt Conference Committee report for House Bill 2326. Senator White, would you like to give us an explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There's two notable changes in the Conference Committee report. The first one is to remove the 2-year sunset provision. And the second one is that in the conference that parents, teachers, and principals will meet to decide what is best for the student after the 4th grade year. We have said there's a category of parents, teachers, and principals.
You've heard an explanation of the Conference Committee report. Is there questions concerning the Conference Committee report? I see none. Are you ready to vote? All in favor of accepting the Conference Committee report as the action of the Senate, vote aye when the bell rings. Those vote no. Mr. Clerk, take the vote.
Ayes 27, nays 2.
Senate makes the Conference Committee report. We adopt the Conference Committee report on House Bill 2326 and having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Without objection, the motion to reconsider goes to table. About to get tied up there. Senator Eckberry, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that we suspend the rules for the immediate introduction of House Joint Resolution 1504.
House Joint Resolution
1504.
1504 by Senator Eckberry. She moves to suspend the rules. Without objection, rules are suspended. We're on HJR 1504 by Senator Eckberry. Senator Eckberry, would you give us an explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If I could get the members' attention, please. Ever so often, as we serve up here in the General Assembly, we make a great sacrifice. We miss our family. We miss our friends. We do the best we can. But we are able to do that because of extraordinary individuals who are a light themselves. They shine bright like a diamond, who, do the job and do it so well that it makes us want to be here, who have sacrificed and who are a part of the institution. And that person, sometimes they have to move on to different tracks in life, different greener pastures. But that person I'm talking about is Miss Kimberly Cox. Mr. Speaker, she is a friend to everyone who meets her. Those of us who had the privilege of serving in the House with her, everyone asks, why do I keep going back to the House? It's not for the Speaker. It's for the, I had to be shady. It's the last day. Come on, y'all. I love everybody over there, but I really love Kim Cox. And, I think that we're going to miss you. You bring joy. Anita Baker has a song that says, you bring me joy. You are that. You bring me joy. And you make things easy for us. And that's a rare thing. And you're also from the west side of the best side, Memphis, Tennessee. So, Mr. Speaker, if you could direct the clerk to read the resolution.
Mr. Clerk, would you read the resolution?
House Joint Resolution 1504, resolution to honor Kim McCaster Cox on the occasion of her retirement from the General Assembly. Whereas it is appropriate we should pay tribute to those legislative employees whose commitment to excellence and dedication to public service have brought untold benefits to the citizens of this state. And whereas Kimberly McAllister Cox is one such exemplary employee of the House of Representatives and the state of Tennessee. And whereas appointed Assistant Chief Clerk of the House of Representatives in 2017, Kim Cox is the first African American to hold the position. And whereas Kim Cox is an integral part of the House Clerk's office, serving on the Legislative Intern Committee, overseeing the development of electronic messaging programming and electronic script program, directing the page program, coordinating pastors of the day, and organizing presentations under welcoming and honoring in the House orders of business. And whereas Kim Cox has always been a steady hand for the House of Representatives in helping members bring and present their distinguished constituents to the chamber for recognition. And whereas a constant source of understanding, Kim Cox epitomizes what it means to be the calm on the House floor. And whereas Kim Cox has served as the legislature's matchmaker and therapist, no matter your status as an intern, staff member, or House member, she provides a shoulder to cry on and is always ready with relationship advice. And whereas, like a Boy Scout, the Assistant Chief Clerk must always be prepared, and Kim thrives in this area by correcting a fashion faux pas or tracking gift wrapping emergencies. And whereas if shoes or bags are not what you need, Kim Cox is an accomplished cosmetologist and can style your hair with expertise using her trusted flat irons. And whereas Kim Cox lives by the dubious but courageous creed, quote, if you're going to get cussed out, you might as well do whatever you want. And whereas Ms. Cox refuses to preside over House session from the clerk's microphone because her voice, like Sage, is, quote, too sexy for session. And whereas a native of Shelby County, Kim Cox is proud to be from the 901. And whereas Kim Cox holds a bachelor's degree from science from Middle Tennessee State University and a master's degree from Trevecca Nazarene University. And whereas a member of several social and charitable organizations, she is an integral part of the community, a mentor to many. And whereas Kim Cox is a connoisseur of fine foods, if a new restaurant has a grand opening today, she would have somehow already visited it twice and formed strong opinions on the cuisine. And whereas a lover of cupcakes and fine dining, Kim Cox detests pizza unless it's of the gourmet variety. She is also known throughout the land for her strong brunch game. And whereas Ms. Cox is most surely holds the Guinness World Record for most hours logged on the phone with her insurance health coach, as she enjoys an intrusive experience more than most. And whereas a fashionista at heart, Kim Cox has a pair of shoes to match every outfit she owns. They're all stored under her desk behind the well, and she can change them out at a moment's notice. And whereas, in addition to her extensive shoe collection, Miss Cox is renowned for her plethora of handbags for any occasion. And whereas the House Clerk's office will never be the same without the guidance and wisdom of Kimberly McAllister Cox, now therefore be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 113th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, the Senate concurring, that we honor Kim McAllister Cox on the occasion of her retirement from the General Assembly, thank her for her distinguished service to the House of Representatives, and extend to her our best wishes for much continued success and happiness in her future endeavors.
Senator Lamar, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ms. Cox, I've had the distinctive privilege of being one of the members who served both in the House and now in the Senate. And I don't know, many of you, when I got elected to the House, I was 27 years old when I got elected and 28 years old when I entered the House, very young. I didn't know much. I was young and fiery and passionate and just all off the rails, right? And Ms. Kim pulled me to the side and said, look here, London, you want to be here in the House, you're going to have to tone that down. And I listened. When she approached me, she was so kind, so warm-hearted, and she was truly a beacon of light in a dark tunnel because I've never been in a space like this, and I really didn't know how to craft a path for myself. And you gave me such great advice. You taught me the rules. You taught me how to walk as a woman, hold my head high, and walk in my power. And in this position, there's not many women who do that. And I just hope that I can do for other young girls what you did for me. And I just want to say, you have been such a wonderful person. And I hate to see you go, but you deserve this time to yourself. You have served this state with the utmost class.
Mr. Clerk.
These are Senate Bill 2782, relative to prohibited medical procedures. Mr. Speaker, we have a message back from the Senate. We are ready to consider a conference committee report.
Representative Ritchie, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Met conference, the House version is pretty much what we ended up coming back with the civil action. We did end up adding in that a medical diagnosis is not a form of recruitment. And with that, I move we adopt the conference committee report and make it the action of the House.
Representative Ritchie moves to adopt the conference committee report, make the action of the House. Any discussion? Representative Boyd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question being called. Any objection? Seeing none. All those in favor of the conference committee report vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 63, 16 nays.
Conference committee report having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare adopted and made the action of the House without objection. Most reconsidered tabled. Let journal reflect. Representative Terry is excused. Next message, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, we have a message on Senate Bill 191 relative to education. Mr. Speaker, we are ready to consider a conference committee report.
Representative Speaker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the conference committee report on education, here's what we've come up with. Removes the bullet resistant as a specification for entry resistant film that is required on the glass panel of each exterior entry or basement level window and door for schools constructed or remodeled after July 1st of 2023. If you remember, that doesn't exist. It is entry resistant film. It adds to uniform grading policy that an LEA may not create a local grading policy or procedure that establishes a minimum grade above 0 that a student may earn for coursework. It also moves the validity period for a professional teaching license from 5 to 8 years. It moves the submission of a comprehensive support and improvement plan from every year to every 3 years. And it removes students who are chronically absent for medical treatment from a school's performance measures. The LEA's director of schools shall notify the department in writing of each student enrolled who is chronically absent due to the student's receipt of medical treatment for chronic illnesses or other health-related issues. Every 3 years, each LEA shall develop and adopt and implement an intervention policy for students who are chronically absent and submit the policy to the department for approval. And lastly, states a student who relocates to a district after December 31st will not be counted in that school or teacher's annual evaluation. Mr. Speaker, I move we adopt the conference committee report and make it the action of the House.
Representative Spicki moves to adopt the conference committee report and make it the action of the House. Any discussion? Representative Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So just to be clear, the conference committee report in this bill, there is officially no mention of vouchers. Is that correct?
Representative Sapicki.
Thank you for the question. I want to give a special shout out to Chairman Moody and Chairman Lafferty. We fought valiantly to defeat Chairman Love's recommendation for school choice. And yes, we have beaten that back, and no, there is no school choice in this conference board.
Representative Powell.
Well, I'm glad to declare vouchers dead for the 113th General Assembly. Thank you.
Representative Parkinson.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative Sapicki, I'm trying to see if the schools or the public schools you're talking about are in this trash can, but I don't see them. So is this a bill, is this about public schools? Because if you're trying to throw the whole system away, I want to make sure we can trust what you're saying.
Representative Sapicki.
I appreciate the comments. If anybody knows me, over the last 6 years of serving in the General Assembly, I've been one of the biggest champions of public schools, arguably in the state of Tennessee. And so this legislation right here, if you look at it, I would hope that both sides would sign on to this conference report and adopt it, because these are things that are very critical and transformational to our public schools.
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I served with you on the Education Committee and thought I knew you till I heard the tape. And so, you know, the tape is what it is, but I'm hoping that we can continue to have good policy for our public schools that do not need to be destroyed and thrown in the trash can, and get rid of that doggone ASD that y'all tried to hijack earlier today, and make our public schools the best that they can be. Thank you. I will be voting for your message calendar.
Representative Sapicki.
Members, I was not the one who laid it on the desk.
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And you're right. You didn't lay it on the desk, because I'd rather fall on my own sword than allow you and your lobbyists to hijack my bill and try to give the Achievement School District back to our Department of Education. Thank you. I did lay it on the desk. Thank you, sir.
Representative Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll move previous question.
Previous question's been called. Any objections? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of the conference committee report vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 76, 7 nays, 1 present, not voting.
Conference committee report, having received a constitutional majority, I hereby declare adopted and made the action of the House without objection. Most weeks here is tabled. Next message, Mr. Clerk.
Senate Bill 1284 by Chairman Powers. Mr. Speaker, we have a message from the Senate. The Senate adopted a conference committee report and made it the action of the Senate. We're ready to consider that conference committee report.
Representative Powers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The people in Dublin right now are running to the pub to grab a pint because the Tennessee-Ireland Trade Commission has come together with the House and Senate. And with that, I move that we adopt the conference committee report and make it the action of the House.
Representative Powers moves adoption of the conference committee report and make it the action of the House. Any discussion? Representative Zachary, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question been called. Is there any objection? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of the conference committee report vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 82, 2 nays, 1 present, not voting.
Conference committee report having received a constitutional majority, hereby declare adopted and made the action of the House without objection. Most weeks here is tabled. Next report, Mr. Clerk.
Senate Bill 2133, relative to goods made in Tennessee. Mr. Speaker, the Senate adopted the conference committee report and made it the action of the Senate, and the House is ready to consider the conference committee report.
Representative Cochran, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So the original House amendment contained protections for meat inspection, other things of public health. The amendment coming out of the conference report tightens that even further. So I move we adopt the conference committee report and make it the action of the House.
Representative Cochran moves adoption of the conference committee report, make it the action of the House. Any discussion? Representative McCalman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move previous question.
Previous question been called. Any objection? Seeing none. All those in favor of the conference committee report vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 82, 3 nays.
Let the journal reflect Representative Howe is excused. Sorry. Having received the Constitutional majority, I declare Senate Bill 2183, the Conference Committee adopted and passed. The motion made the action of the House. Chairman Zachary, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move passage of consent calendar 3 on third and final consideration, keeping with Rule 50.
Gentleman moves passage of consent calendar number 3, properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, any objections been filed yet? All right.
Mr. Speaker, no objections filed.
Anyone seeking recognition on the consent calendar? Seeing none, we're voting. On the consent calendar number 3, all members in favor vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. As every member vote, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 85, no nays.
Having received constitutional majority, I declare consent calendar passed without objection. Most consider as table. Leader Lamberth, you're recognized. Wednesday, 17th calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to take up April 17th calendar at this time, regular calendar.
Proper motion. Properly seconded. Any objection? Without objection, so ordered. Call first bill, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, the House was ready for item 23. Item 23, House Bill 2984 by Representative Freeman to create an East Bank Development Authority for the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Mr. Speaker, Senate bill is on the desk.
Representative Freeman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute conform to Senate Bill 2968.
Representative Freeman moves substitute form of Senate Bill 2968. Properly seconded without objection. So ordered. Representative Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 2968 on third and final consideration.
Representative Freeman moves passage of Senate Bill 2968 on third and final consideration. Properly seconded. Representative Carr, for what purpose?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question been called. Is there objection? That's 1, 2, 3. We're on the board. All those in favor of previous question vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 65, 17 nays, 2 present, not voting.
Previous question prevails. We are voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 2968 vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 59, 18 nays, 3 present, not voting.
Senate Bill 2968 having received constitutional majority, everybody declare passed without objection. Most consider table. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
Item 24, House Bill 2068 by Representative Jernigan relative to cockfighting. Mr. Speaker, the Senate bill is on the desk.
Representative Jernigan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll hold it on the desk, please.
Without objection, held on the desk. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 2046 by Representative Chisholm relative to Department of Children's Services. Mr. Speaker, the Senate bill is on the desk.
Representative Chisholm, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform with Senate Bill 1806.
Representative Chisholm moves to substitute and conform Senate Bill 1806. Properly seconded without objection. So ordered. Representative Chisholm.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1806 on third and final consideration.
Representative Chisholm moves passage of Senate Bill 1806 on third and final consideration. Properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
Household Justice Committee Amendment number 1, same as Senate Amendment number 2.
Chairman Farmer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to withdraw.
Without objection, Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Representative Chisholm, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. members, currently the Department of Children's Services, whenever they make a change to their rules or policies, they submit a report to the Judiciary Committee of the Senate and the Civil Justice Committee of the House. This bill merely adds government operations to their list.
Representative Chisholm renews.
With that, I renew my motion.
Representative Chisholm renews his motion. Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question being called. Is there objection? Seeing none. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1806, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change the vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 78, 2 nays.
Senate Bill 1806, having received constitutional majority, I hereby declare passed without objection. The motion reconsider is tabled. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
Speaker, that brings the body back to item 9 on that same calendar. Item 9 by Representative Butler relative to methadone clinics.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized. For what purpose?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to move that this be sent back to local government full for a more closer look. Thank you.
I'm sure it's going to be really close. Without objection, so ordered. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
Speaker, that brings the body back to item 20, Senate Bill 1968 by Representative Wright.
Representative Wright, you're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to hold on the desk.
Without objection, move to hold on the desk. So ordered. Next bill, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, rolled to the heel of that calendar was an item from Thursday's calendar, item 3, House Bill 2419 by Representative Barrett. Mr. Speaker, the Senate bill is on the desk. Thursday, April 18th, excuse me. Thursday, April 18th calendar.
Representative Barrett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. According to the script, this is where I'm supposed to move to substitute and conform, but I can't do that. I want to take just an opportunity to address the members of this body to talk about a decision that I'm making and what to do with this bill. First of all, I want to thank you all for going along with me on a bill that was very important to me, an issue that really is what drove me to run for this seat and to be a member of this House. And unfortunately, while we had bipartisan support in this chamber, our friends across the hall decided that they wanted to go in a different direction with that bill. While we've been in conference, we weren't able to work out an agreement. And so with that, I find myself in a quandary as to what to do with this particular bill and the sponsor that I have here. So unfortunately, not being able to reach an agreement on that bill, I move to lay this on the table.
Second. Without objection, held on the table. For clarification, the House adopted the Conference Committee report for Senate Bill 2133 and made it the action of the House. Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, that completes the regular calendars.
Representative Parkinson, for what purpose?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as in our tradition, we always appoint a chair to the paper committee. And since you haven't appointed any Democratic chairs in this session, I am going to not nominate, but appoint Representative Afton Baines as the paper caucus chair.
So ordered. Representative McCalman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that rules be suspended for immediate consideration of SJR number 1533.
Mr. Clerk, read the caption.
Senate Joint Resolution 1533 by Representative McCalman, a resolution to celebrate Mustangs Heritage Foundation Week.
You've heard the caption. Any objections? Without objection, the rules are suspended. Representative McCalman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to concur in SJR number 1533.
Representative McCallum moves to concur in Senate Joint Resolution 1533, probably seconded. Any objection to the question? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye, aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. I declare it concurred in. Without objection, the motion reconsider is tabled. Leader Lamberth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move that the rules be suspended for immediate consideration of SJR number 1629.
Mr. Clerk, read the caption.
Senate Joint Resolution 1629 by Leader Lamberth, a resolution to provide for the adjournment sine die of the 113th General Assembly.
You've heard the caption. Any objections? Without objection, the rules are suspended. Leader Lamberth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to concur in SJR number 1629.
Leader Lamberth moves to concur in Senate Joint Resolution 1629. Probably seconded. Any objection to the question? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye, aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. I declare it concurred in. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is tabled. Leader Lamberth, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to appoint a committee of the House to inform the Senate that the House has completed its business and is prepared to adjourn sine die.
I appoint the following representatives to notify the Senate. Representative Ritchie, Representative Bain, Representative Warner, Representative Fritz, and Representative Pearson is the chair. Leader Lamberth, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to appoint a committee of the House to inform the governor that the House has completed its business and is prepared to adjourn sine die.
I appoint the following representatives. Deputy Speaker Johnson of Montgomery, chair. Representative Jernigan, Representative Carr, Representative Whitson, and Representative Thompson. Will the committees please retire, and we'll stand in a brief recess pending the return of the committees. Members, we have visitors. The chair of the delegation, Senator Lundberg, you are recognized at Speaker Johnson's desk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm here to inform you that the Senate has concluded its business and is ready to adjourn.
Thank you. Representative Pearson, did you make your report to the Senate, please?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. I have made the report to the Senate and shared the good news that our work legislatively is done, but our work for our communities and our districts continues. And I want to thank Oceanay, District 86, and everybody else for the work that we have yet to do to make Tennessee the place that we know that it can be. God bless you and thank you.
All right. Looks like we're waiting for the drinks to finish downstairs, so we'll have a second. Deputy Speaker Johnson at Leader Lambert's desk.
Mr. Speaker, the governor has been notified that the House has completed its business.
Members, I would like to personally thank, and we should all thank all of our staff, the legislative assistants, our research department, our legal department, our clerk staff, our clerks, for allowing us the opportunity to come here and be able to be public servants. Let's give them all a round of thanks. As well as our caucus staff and all the others. Representative Williams, you were wanting to be notified earlier. Was that correct?
Yes, sir, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for recognizing me. I just wanted to also take a moment for us to remember our families. It takes a huge sacrifice of service. I know for my family, they've had an opportunity to grow up here a little bit in the legislature. And I remember when Greer came to the Capitol for the first time, Mr. Speaker, and my kids did too. And there's a lot of nights, a lot of ball games, a lot of dance recitals and cheerleading competitions and stuff like that, that we, in service to our community, we miss being fathers and dads and different stuff like that. So I just thought we ought to take a mother. I'm sorry, that's Chair Lady Hazelwood for you. But I just want to take an opportunity to thank my family and us take an opportunity to thank our families for giving us the opportunity to come up here and serve the state and communities that we love.
Leader Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. But while you're standing there next to our speaker, I will take this moment publicly to say, Speaker Sexton, thank you very much for your leadership. The last 2 years have had ups and downs and backs and forths and everything else, but you've led us with a steady hand at the till through it, and we deeply appreciate you, sir. Thank you for your leadership.
Leader Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I move that the Journal of the House of Representatives and the proceedings thereof be approved from the 28th through the 63rd legislative day of the second regular session.
Without objection, so ordered. Leader Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Pursuant to Senate Joint Resolution number 1629, I move the House of Representatives of the 113th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee adjourn sine die.
In accordance with Senate Joint Resolution number 1629, I hereby declare the second regular session of the House of Representatives of the 113th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee adjourned sine die.